When did I stop believing like that? Rodriguez wondered. When did experience turn into cynicism instead of wisdom? LeBron turned to address his teammates. We're a family here, and families support each other. They don't tear each other down. Marcus's experience is our strength, and I'll give everything I have too. He turned back to Rodriguez. But let's do this together. At that moment, Rodriguez felt something break inside his chest. Not his spirit, but the hardened shell he'd built around his heart. This teenager was teaching him something he hadn't learned in 32 years of life. Real strength isn't about defeating others. It's about uniting with them. LeBron, Rodriguez said, his voice trembling. I was wrong about you. No, Marcus, LeBron responded. You taught me something important tonight. You showed me that real leadership isn't easy. Even when facing criticism and doubt, you have to maintain respect and dignity. Rodriguez was amazed. Instead of accepting his apology, this young man was thanking him for the lesson. The entire atmosphere in the locker room transformed. LeBron had managed to change the environment without humiliating anyone, without winning any arguments, simply by speaking from his heart. Rodriguez approached LeBron and placed his hand on his shoulder. Kid, you really are special. While I was bragging about years of experience, you reminded me that character is what truly matters. LeBron smiled. When experience and character come together, that's when real leadership is born. When they returned to the court for the fourth quarter, the team carried entirely different energy. Rodriguez was now listening to LeBron's ideas and actively supporting them. On the court, this collaboration became visible immediately. Coach Mike Brown watched in amazement from the sidelines as his two most important players began orchestrating the comeback together. I've never seen anything like this, he told his assistant. It's like watching a masterclass in leadership happening in real time. The crowd began to sense the shift as well. What started as scattered hope in the stands grew into thunderous belief as the deficit steadily shrank. Rodriguez's experience combined with LeBron's energy created an unstoppable force that transformed not just the game, but everyone who witnessed it. In the final minutes, with the score tied, Rodriguez turned to LeBron and said, "This is your moment. Show us what leadership really looks like." LeBron hit the game-winning shot, but the first person he embraced during the celebration was Rodriguez. In the post-game interview, Rodriguez made a statement that would echo throughout the basketball world. Tonight, I learned the most important lesson of my career from an 18-year-old kid. Age is just a number. What really matters is the size of your heart and your willingness to lift others up. LeBron, meanwhile, spoke glowingly about Rodriguez. Marcus became my mentor tonight. He showed me that sometimes criticism comes from love, and that the greatest teachers are those brave enough to challenge us to be better. From that night forward, Rodriguez became a completely different player and person. Instead of trying to break down young players, he began mentoring them with the same patience and respect that LeBron had shown him. The approach he learned from an 18-year-old became his guiding philosophy for the remainder of his career. 3 years later, when Rodriguez was inducted into his college's Hall of Fame, he dedicated his speech to the teenager who taught a grown man how to lead with grace. LeBron flew in to attend the ceremony, and when Rodriguez called him to the stage, the two men embraced as the crowd gave them a standing ovation. That night, Rodriguez said in his speech, "I thought I was going to teach a lesson about respect and experience. Instead, I learned that true greatness isn't about putting others down. It's about lifting them up. Sometimes the greatest wisdom comes from the youngest voices, and sometimes the best teachers come disguised as students." Years later, when Rodriguez would tell this story, he would always conclude with the same words. "I went into that locker room to test LeBron's character. Instead, he revealed mine. And in that revelation, I found not just a better player, but a better man." If you enjoyed this incredible story of humility and transformation, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want more content about these profound character moments, don't forget to subscribe. Share in the comments about the leadership moments that changed your life. During a routine drill, LeBron made a pass that shouldn't have worked, threading the ball through traffic to find an open teammate in a spot that most players wouldn't have even seen. The veteran who received the pass looked surprised, then impressed. Torres felt his eyebrows raise involuntarily. Interesting court vision, Peterson observed. Most rookies are looking to showcase their own skills in first practices. Torres nodded silently, filing away the observation. One moment didn't mean anything, but it was worth noting. He decided it was time for his trademark pressure test, the evaluation method that had exposed countless prospects over the years. He whispered instructions to head coach Paul Silas, who nodded with the understanding that came from years of collaboration. Silas had seen Torres conduct these evaluations before and knew exactly what was coming. The whistle brought practice to an abrupt halt. "All right, everyone, gather up," Silas announced, his voice echoing through the suddenly quiet facility. "Torres has a special evaluation drill he wants to run." The veteran players exchanged knowing glances. They'd participated in these sessions before and knew they were as much a part of the test as the prospect being evaluated. Torres descended from his perch like a judge approaching the bench, his clipboard and pen tools of evaluation that had determined countless careers. The players formed a loose semicircle around him, LeBron positioned among them with the same calm attention he'd shown since arriving. There was no nervousness in his posture, no eager anticipation, just professional readiness. "James," Torres said, his voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed, "step forward." LeBron complied without hesitation, his movements fluid and confident. "We're going to run a simple drill. 5-on-5 half-court. You call the plays, organize the offense, and let's see if this team will follow an 18-year-old's leadership." The challenge was unmistakable, the psychological warfare transparent. Torres was creating a crucible moment. Either LeBron would assert dominance through individual brilliance, revealing the ego that Torres expected, or he would crumble under the weight of veteran indifference. Most prospects chose one of these paths, and both usually ended in disappointment. LeBron surveyed his teammates with eyes that seemed far older than his years. Carlos Martinez, a 10-year veteran, stood with arms crossed and skeptical expression. Tony Williams, the starting point guard, watched with barely concealed amusement. "Understood, Mr. Torres," LeBron replied. Then he did something unexpected. Instead of asserting authority, he approached each teammate individually. To Carlos, "I know you've been working on your mid-range game. I'd love to get you some clean looks." To Tony, "Your court vision is incredible. I want to learn from how you read defenses." Each interaction acknowledged their experience, while establishing his desire to complement, not dominate. Torres raised an eyebrow. This wasn't typical rookie behavior of trying to prove superiority. The scrimmage began with LeBron controlling pace like a conductor. His first 3 possessions resulted in assists, a perfect pass to Carlos for an open 15-footer, a no-look feed to the center, a precision pass to Tony. Torres found himself leaning forward. "Most rookies try to prove they belong through individual dominance," Torres muttered to Peterson. "This kid's earning respect through elevation of others." As the scrimmage intensified, Torres signaled Carlos to increase physical intensity. Carlos understood, beginning to play LeBron with increasing aggression, harder bumps, testing the rookie's mental fortitude. The collision was inevitable. As LeBron drove toward the basket, Carlos planted himself, creating contact that sent the rookie sprawling. The impact echoed through the facility, and every eye turned to witness the response. The gymnasium fell silent. This was the moment Torres had orchestrated, where a young player's true character would be revealed. Would LeBron retaliate? Complain? Back down? LeBron slowly picked himself up, brushing off his jersey with methodical precision. Then, in a move that stunned every observer, he walked directly toward Carlos with his hand extended. "Great defense," he said with genuine smile. "That's exactly the intensity this team needs. Next time, I'll be ready." Carlos stared at the outstretched hand, his weathered face processing this unexpected response. In his decade of professional basketball, he'd never encountered a rookie who responded to physical intimidation with respect and gratitude. Slowly, he grasped LeBron's hand. "Kids got stones," Carlos admitted quietly to Tony. "Most rookies would either fight back or fold. This one's different." Torres felt something crack inside his chest, a fissure in the cynical armor he'd built through years of disappointment. The final phase pushed the scrimmage to its breaking point. "Time out," Torres called. "New scenario. Your team is down by 10 with 2 minutes left. LeBron, show me what kind of leader you are under pressure." LeBron gathered his teammates in a tight huddle. "We're not just trying to win this drill," he said with commanding authority. "We're showing what this team can become when we trust each other completely." He outlined sophisticated strategy, aggressive defense, quick ball movement, unwavering support regardless of individual mistakes. Torres watched from the sideline, impressed despite his resistance to being impressed. The final 2 minutes played out like a masterclass in leadership. LeBron didn't dominate the ball or seek personal glory. Instead, he became the catalyst that transformed 5 individuals into a cohesive unit. When the buzzer sounded, his team had erased the deficit and won by 6. Torres approached with measured steps. "James, walk with me." They moved toward a quiet corner, settling into chairs beneath a window. The afternoon sun cast long shadows, creating an almost confessional atmosphere. "I need to ask you something," Torres said. "Where did you learn to handle pressure like that? Most 18-year-olds crumble under that scrutiny." LeBron was quiet for a moment. "Mr. Torres, I grew up in Akron with a single mother who worked 3 jobs. By age 10, I was helping budget money, negotiate with landlords, make decisions most kids never face. Basketball became my responsibility to family, community, and teammates who trusted me." Torres felt his throat tighten. "And the confrontation with Carlos?" "Respect isn't demanded. It's earned through how you handle adversity," LeBron replied. "Carlos was testing whether I could handle professional intensity. The best answer wasn't anger or complaints, but showing I could absorb contact and maintain focus on team success." The veteran scout stared at the young man, feeling 15 years of certainty shifting. "You're not like most rookies I've evaluated. How are they different? Most try to prove they belong through individual dominance. You did the opposite, proved your worth by making everyone else better. That's not typical thinking for someone your age." LeBron smiled with combined youthful optimism and mature wisdom. "Basketball is a team sport, but more than that, life is a team sport. The people around you can either lift you up or tear you down, and which direction often depends on how you treat them first." Torres leaned back, feeling the weight of his misconceptions. "James, I owe you an apology. I came into today with preconceived notions about young players. I was wrong." "You don't need to apologize," LeBron responded. "You were protecting this organization by ensuring new players can handle the pressure. I respect that, and I learned something valuable." "What did you learn?" "That trust must be earned, not expected. That veterans like Carlos have earned their skepticism. And that the best way to honor their experience is showing consistent character over time." Torres felt moisture gathering in his eyes. "You taught me something today, too." "What's that?" "That wisdom doesn't always come with age, and sometimes the most important lessons come from unexpected teachers. You reminded me that value, real value, isn't measured in years of experience, but in depth of character." They sat in comfortable silence. Finally, Torres spoke again. "James, you have my complete support. Not just as a scout, but as someone who believes you can help change this organization's culture." That evening, Torres drove home with his mind spinning. His wife Mary was preparing dinner in their kitchen. "How was the rookie evaluation?" she asked. Torres sat heavily in his chair. "Mary, I think I just met someone who's going to change everything. I thought I knew about basketball, leadership, and character. Tell me about him." "His name is LeBron James. He's 18, and he taught me that true value has nothing to do with age." Torres recounted the day's events, from initial skepticism through the final conversation that had questioned assumptions he'd held for 15 years. "What makes this young man different?" Mary asked. "Most rookies try to take something, playing time, recognition, respect. LeBron came trying to give something, leadership, support, elevation of teammates. It's like he understands that basketball is bigger than individual achievement." "So what happens now?" "Now I become a student again. I learn from someone young enough to be my son and help this organization understand we don't just have a talented player, we have a once-in-a-generation leader." The next morning, Torres met with the front office. "Gentlemen," he began, "I need to discuss LeBron James. Everything I thought I knew about evaluating young talent was challenged yesterday." He detailed every aspect of the evaluation. "This isn't just about drafting someone who can win games. This is about acquiring someone who can transform our entire culture." Years later, Torres would reflect on that evaluation with pride and humility. "That day taught me the most important lesson of my career," he would tell other scouts. "True value recognizes no age limit. Sometimes the greatest wisdom walks through your door wearing a teenager's jersey." If you enjoyed this incredible story of value and character transformation, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want more content about these profound basketball moments, don't forget to subscribe. Share in the comments moments when you've witnessed true character change your understanding of what's possible.